All right, you ready? Okay. All right, call the meeting to order. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for everyone's attendance. We appreciate everybody's participation. First thing was that I asked Paul Warner to start us off with some welcoming protocol or some sharing his monologue about this meeting. So, Paul.
Hello, you guys. When you first mentioned that to me, it brought me back to my days when I was a small kid time. My grand aunt used to take care of us when we were kids, and me and my sister were the two youngest. She used to call us the Mokekos, aka monkeys. And so she always felt like she had to teach us a lesson every time we stayed with her. And I always remember one of the most valuable lessons that she believed in was the value of ho'ohanohano, which actually means to value the respect of, which the value of respect. Respect your elders, respect the people around you. And she told us how you need to honor the dignity of others, and at the same time, you have to conduct yourself with distinction and honor as well, and integrity has to be high. And those were one of the some of the values. My grandmother's family, and this wasn't my grandmother, it was my grandaunt. My grandmother had already passed. They were the last generation in my mother's side of the family that Olelo. They grew up with conversational Hawaiian, and their last name was McGowan. So I feel kind of shame actually to tell you that I never learned any Hawaiian language from her, but we learned all the values in English. But the value of ho'ohanohano is really important because we need to honor the dignity of others, everyone around us. And in this crazy world today where people think they can say anything and badmouth other people, that's what keeps us whole. It keeps us grounded in our culture, right? Valuing or respecting others. So that's my piece.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Very important value for all of us to share. So with that, my understanding is that there's no public comments on any of the agenda items. So we will move to approval of the minutes. So if I could get a motion to approve the April 11, 2024 regular board meeting minutes.
So moved. By Rich.
I have a technical amendment.
Okay.
Just,
Can I get a second and then this have the technical amendment? Is there a second? Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Doug.
Just the end of it, it identifies that in the minutes that the meeting is May 11th, and I'm sure that we met May 9th. That's all.
Thank you. We'll make that correction. Oh, that's fine. Okay. So with that correction, before I call for the vote, can everyone that's on Zoom confirm that there is no one else in the room? And let me also say that the board members here are Rich Matsuda, myself, and that's it. Here in the Dokwa room. So with that, all in favor of passing the amendment with that amendment, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Chair report. First thing I'd like to do is to introduce to all of you Mike Miyahira. Mike is in attendance here at the meeting. He is the latest new University of Hawaii Regent that has been appointed and has already started. Right? Yeah, he started. So he, because of his interest in what all of you are doing, decided to attend the meeting today and kind of learn more about what we're doing So thanks to you, Mike. I don't know if you want to say a few words.
I just want to say hello to everyone, and I'm very interested in learning more about MKSO. It's great.
Thank you. So, like I said, we're fortunate that one of the regions has taken the time to actually visit with us. In terms of the chair's report, I wanted to introduce to all of you Neil Hanna's. Neil is succeeding Kamana Beamer. Kamana, as you recollect, had other obligations in his life which prevented him from seeking reappointment. But luckily, we have a really good and knowledgeable, experienced individual, Neil Hanna's, who has stepped up to take his place. Neil was confirmed by the Senate. Because of the timing issues, he will not be on board as an authority member until July 1st. Neil currently serves on the Water Commission, and until his term ends on June 30th, he won't be allowed to sit with us. But as of July 1st, but Neil, to kind of get ahead, because the matters that we talk about are so complicated, Neil is in attendance today, and I wanted to introduce you and ask Neil to say a few words.
Mahalo, John, and aloha makako. Kama'aina with many of you on the authority, and just an honor to be joining you every months ahead. As I look at the agenda, something seems to have gone terribly wrong. Wasn't the Kamana Beamer generation supposed to succeed our generation? It seemed like a perverse kind of a twist of fate, but nevertheless, I understand know Kamana well, and have great respect for his abilities and his ike and his commitment, and it's big shoes to fill, and I'll endeavor to do my best. I know most of you from my over 4-decade career with Kamehameha Schools, the last half of which was involved with managing the agriculture and conservation portfolio, 350,000 acres of land across the Hawaiʻi. And our mission was to manage these assets to generate an optimal balance of economic, educational, cultural, environmental, and community benefits and outcomes. It was a daunting challenge. We were just learning it back in 2000, but it has sweet rewards, and it was life-changing for me in terms of really generating a profound sense of aloha aina that brings me to this board and this opportunity at this time, as well as a fundamental belief that this is the key to a regenerative economy that Hawaii really needs and desires. So at this point in my life, I'm on a bunch of boards, the Water Commission and Polynesian Voyaging Society and Hawaii Hulu and Hawaii Investment Ready and Hawaii Land Trusts and so forth. It's not because I lack for activity or need activity, but seeking impact. And when there's opportunities to kind of participate in something that's going to be transformative and help our society and help our aina and help our lahui, sign me up. I'll be ready for it. And somebody asked me, said, "Oh man, you're going from the Water Commission, the frying pan to the fire," and it can be that way if that's what you expect. It'll probably self-fulfill. But my experience on the Water Commission was we could make a difference and we could resolve. And it doesn't happen automatically. I remember when we were looking at East Maui streams, 28 streams and in-stream flow standards, and everybody fighting for kalo or fighting for upstream use or fighting for recreational use and so forth. We created a spreadsheet. We said, okay, what are our assumptions? Let's solve this problem. And let's figure out these high, mid, low assumptions and figure out what set of assumptions gives us the optimal balance. And that became the basis for our contested case outcome. I'm not sure what's going to work for this authority and what's needed, but I'm happy to learn and happy to contribute. And I thank you for letting me join.
Thank you. Thanks, Neil. Make sure we save the video that says that he voluntarily sought to come on the board. We'll replay it in a few months. In case you need a reminder. So there's nothing to discuss under governance right now. Administration from I'm gonna change the agenda from the next meeting, and we're gonna automatically put on a report of our new executive director, John DeFries. But moving to that agenda item from now, first thing we wanted him to talk about was the status of personnel positions, and maybe again, just because you're relatively new, kind of give us a little bit of your thinking about what you've seen so far, what you've talked about so far.
Well, thank you, and welcome to Mike and to Neil. Both of whom will have critical roles moving forward. In the first month that I've been here, the emphasis has been on getting caught up in extensive reading and documents, some community outreach, but the focus has been on trying to build capacity for our team. To the board members earlier this week, you received a memo from me announcing that the administrative services officer position has been filled with an interim temporary hire in the form of Lloyd Unipasami. If you've had an opportunity to review his resume, you'll understand that his experience runs deep. Besides understanding how these pieces all fit, he has a working knowledge in departments and agencies that are critical to our ability to navigate through this. And before I go any further, I'm going to ask Lloyd to make a few comments. Lloyd?
Yeah, thank you very much. Aloha. And like Neil, I am very honored to be part of this organization. Some highlights of myself. I was born on the Big Island. I went to Hilo Union School until the 3rd grade, and we moved to Honolulu after that. I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house at the Pepe Hill sugar plantation. So I know what it is to have an outhouse. I know what it is to have a community bath, and all of those things that come with the old Hilo. One of my favorite memories was to walk up to the post office up the street, and we could see Mauna Kea with the blue skies in the back and some snow on the top. And it's very interesting that after all these years, I get to participate in seeing where Mauna Kea will be going. And I look forward to working with you, the board and the staff, and I hope I can make a positive contribution to establish an organization that will meet your goals and purposes of what this organization is all about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lloyd. And, you know, Lloyd is here today not only to attend the board meeting, but at 1:30 today, we will be joining the management plan PIG meeting chaired by board member Matsuda. And board member Kudo, Lloyd Unipasami will be joining us on the 17th for the transition working group. And we're about to schedule a week after next a series of meetings with Greg Chun and his team at CMS. So as we build our capacity, activity that heretofore has been at the PIG level will start to sequentially move into the staff and the operation. And so we're looking forward to that in the coming weeks. I would also add that I completed an interview of a short list of candidates for the project project director. And a decision has been made, a selection has been made. Candidates that were finalists who did not make it were notified by me personally. And while that selection has been made, it's premature to announce the identity of that person until HR clearance is completed and that candidate's employer can be properly notified. But we're looking for that position to be operational on July 8th. So looking forward to that as well. And I'll leave it at that, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, I'll call you Mr. DeFreeze, I guess.
It's my father's name.
I just learned a word about Hano, so I have to respect my elders, he said. So there's not too many of them, yeah. So with that, as you can see, John has been very busy helping us to build the capacity that we need to move forward. So appreciate all of his efforts, and we look forward to the announcement of who our new program director will be. With that, I'm going to ask Member Kuro to give us status on the transition group. As you guys remember, the transition group is the group that is putting together how we will actually transfer assets from CMS to the authority. So with that.
Well, thanks, John. We had our second meeting of the long-term transition working group on April 19th. And we had Paul Horner and myself representing MKSOA and Jordan Ching, our attorney. From the University of Hawaii, we had Greg Chun, and the Board of Regent member seat is absent right now, but I understand will be filled by Mike. Representing UH also was Jesse Suki as their legal counsel. And then we also had DLNR, Russell Suji, who is head of the Land Management Division, along with Kevin Moore, and Michael Kane, who is with the Office of Conservation Land, District Lands. And then we had also Puena and John DeFreeze, who was absent, but Puena staffed the meeting. We used the second meeting basically to work on some preliminary issues before the work begins. One of the issues that we have facing us is the need for a legal counsel to assist the working group. As you know, and I've indicated to you earlier, the inventory submitted to us by Greg and his people of the assets and liabilities of the university that potentially will be transferred to the MKSOA by July 1st, 2028 consists of thousands of pages of documents, which evidence the ownership or some type of interest in personal property as well as real property, and then also obligations. We decided that we needed to have a legal counsel that will assist us in the review and analysis of those documents, all put together a matrix of those documents that we reviewed and whether we are recommending that they be assigned or not. And then also the different aspects of characteristics of each type of asset and liability with regard to their impact to financial impacts, legal impacts, consents, penalties, etc., assignability or not, and all those kinds of factors. And so those are the kinds of things that will ultimately end up in a transition plan that will be provided to both the University of Hawaii Board of Regents for approval and to the MKSOA for approval, and hopefully with the blessing of the DLNR staff as well. We also looked at some other issues that I won't go into right now. They're just preliminary issues that we needed to get a kind of common understanding among the group as to how we are considering our responsibility and what our goals and sub-goals are with regard to accomplishing this task of actually transitioning the assets and liabilities from university to the authority by 2028. I think some of you know that under Act 255, based on my reading of the law, there are two periods. One is the transition period, which we are in right now as of July 1st, 2023 to July 1st, 2028, a period of 5 years. That's called the transition period. And then at 2028 is the post-transition period. Now, the significance of the post-transition period is that's the date under Act 255 in which all of the powers of the university and the land board relative to Mauna Kea get transferred to us. So there's some analysis that has to be done as to the impact of what occurs in 2028, post-2028 period. But right now, our group is working on the transition period, that 5-year period, and to hopefully make it a smooth transition of the assets and liabilities, hopefully on or before the July 1st, 2028 deadline of the transition period. Anyway, I want to thank Greg Chun especially for working with us and his staff for putting together the inventory. It's a huge inventory, and we're going to have our work cut out for us. We've set a priority of the types of documents that we will be reviewing first, and the first types of documents we will be reviewing are the major leases and subleases. Then we will get to the permits or entitlements, and then we will go to the operating agreements, that there are several with each observatory. After that, we have a whole myriad of other types of agreements dealing with personal property that is at the university that will be transferred over as well. And that's it for the second meeting, and we're looking forward to the third meeting where we'll refine some of these issues. I want to thank Jordan as well. He's hanchuing through the AG's office the hiring of our special counsel, and I don't know where that is, Jordan, but hopefully it'll be done within a month to 3 months. That's what Jordan indicates to us. Anyway, that's all I have. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
I do have a question, Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
Well, actually, I need to make sure that I can ask. Jordan, am I able to ask questions at this point?
Yep. So you're able.
Okay, great. Regarding the approval that would occur at some point of some portion of the elements of the transition plan and what you're working on with the working group by the UH Regents and our authority board, is there already some? I'm aware of what 255 says. I'm just not aware that there's any implementing instructions associated with, for the two organizations to actually come to an agreement. Is that part of the plan as well that the working group is going to be looking at?
If there are any disagreements, those issues, it's my understanding, will be shifted to the other working group, which is the co-management working group,
Okay.
to discuss and resolve.
Got it. Okay, that's great. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mahalo, Ben, for all the hard work. You and Jordan, putting this thing together.
Thank you.
Just to make it clear, Ben's group is coming up with recommendations that all of you will have a vote on in terms of any critical issues that may arise. So the decision making is going to lie with each of you as board members, not solely with this transition group. Other questions? Okay, thank you. If not, nothing to report on finance. We survived the legislature. Operational update, Greg.
the,
Yeah, like first thing.
Yeah. So hello, board members, good to see you all again and welcome Blake to the team. Look forward to working with you folks. I have 3 items I was going to update you folks on from our operations side of things, and I shared some pictures to give folks an idea of sort of what is happening. So first thing I'll cover is ongoing work on the CSO and Hokukia decommissioning. Both projects are underway. CSO had completed the removal of their mirror in the fall of 2023, and site work was halted for the winter and restarted in April, the week of April 15th, actually, started to mobilize. So the project is well underway. The dome is expected to be completely removed by June, although they have experienced now three days of weather delays because of high winds on the mountain this week. So hopefully that doesn't set them back, but the original schedule has them have the dome removed by June. At which time they would then start work on removing the foundation and the site restoration aspects or phases of the project. Those phases are expected to be completed by September of this year. At the completion of deconstruction activities, the 3-year monitoring process begins where they will do site monitoring for various things required by DLNR under their permit. What you're looking at is a shot taken last week. The CSO picture on the left is a shot taken last week of the deconstruction process. The top part of the dome that opens and closes, you can see, has been removed. You have 3 remaining walls to still remove. There is a live webcam that you can go to and watch the progress. Subaru has graciously agreed to point one of their webcams towards the project site. So if you go onto our CMS website and you look at the top right corner, you'll see the weather station, weather center. You go to the weather center, you can click on the tab that says webcams. You look for the Subaru webcam that's pointed to the southwest. So you can watch live what's happening. There's nothing happening there today because there's no work due to the high winds. Hokukia, site work started the week of April 22nd. It's a much smaller project, obviously. They have mobilized equipment up to the site. They're not able to start work yet because of the high winds. However, all the utilities and cabling have been removed. They did that earlier on, right after they start mobilized for the project. The dome foundation removal and site restoration is expected to be completed by August of this year, at which time same thing happens, a 3-year site monitoring process begins. So that's the status of the 2 projects. But if we go on to the next photo. No, yeah.
Sorry.
No. It has been a while since we've had activity of this scale on the Mauna. And so there are some initial lessons learned that I think is important to share with you folks as you folks look at assuming responsibilities from the university. One of the things that has become abundantly clear is because of the multiple contractors and subcontractors involved, complicated by the fact that we have 2 projects going on at the same time, On-site coordination, on-site communication, on-site chain of command is critical to managing all the various aspects of ensuring that this project proceeds safely for everyone involved, including the public, the staff, and the contractors. What you see here is dump trucks being staged at Haleʻipohaku prior to going up to the summit. This is for the CSO project. The materials that are being removed from the dome are loaded onto these trucks and they come back down. It takes about 2 hours for these trucks to get up to the work site. And oftentimes or sometimes they are not able to get up, and so they have to be towed. So it is a huge coordination effort involving not just the contractors and the subcontractors, but also our rangers, our utility staff who are responsible for grading the road twice a week, as well as managing the public access aspect as well. And of course, the observatory staff who need to get up to their work sites during the day. So big lesson learned thus far. There's a lot of daily, weekly briefings that are occurring on site as well as in the office. Tremendous effort to make sure that everything is well coordinated. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, I wanted to provide you folks just a quick update.
Great. Why don't we ask if there's any questions on the commission?
Okay.
I'll go. So, any questions?
Can I just ask what the projected or the timeline or projected finish time is for the decommissioning of the foundation for CSO?
Hang on a second, let me pull up my notes. Foundation removal is expected to be completed by September 2024.
Okay, and then I would like to ask too that if we can be notified around, or if there's an approximate idea when the completion of the removal of the dome and before the portion that's going to impact ground takes place. I believe there should be protocols observed for this time. So if we can be notified around then, and then we can make I can be able to speak, and maybe we can connect with practitioners to ensure that protocols can be done around that time.
Sure.
Mahalo.
Sure. Okay. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I wanted to give you folks a quick update on where we are with the underground fuel storage tank project. As you know, we're going to remove our current underground fuel storage tanks by 2028. I shared with you folks some of the planning and ideas that we've been tossing around. Currently have total 12,000 gallon underground storage tank capacity for both gasoline as well as diesel. The original idea was to replace that with an above ground 10,000 gallon tank, divided tank that would house 5,000 gallons of diesel, 5,000 gallons of gas. We have subsequently, in working with the observatories and looking at actual fuel needs and fuel projections in the future, as some of the observatories move towards the electric fleets and other transportation plans that they're considering, we're now evaluating the option of two 3,000 gallon tanks that are above ground, removable or movable, basically can be transported and moved around as needed. Dispensing stations are built into them as part of the design. So we're looking at that. The engineering contractor that we've been working with is coming up with the specs for that. The specs are what would lead to an actual project proposal and what would be used for permitting as well as procurement purposes. So we don't have a project yet. Technically, it hasn't been approved by the observatories. We're confident that it will be, and once we have a final project proposal, we'll be able to bring that forward to this group for your review. So just a quick update on where we are with that. Any questions on the underground fuel storage tank? Okay, the next slide, please. So one of the things that is a major activity for us on an annual basis happens during the summer when the weather is more accommodating. Is we conduct our annual historic site monitoring as well as our arthropod monitoring programs. Both of those are required under our conservation our comprehensive management plan and require pretty extensive coordination and preparation ahead of time. So our resource management team is currently preparing the plan for conducting these surveys this summer. As you can see on the photo on the left, the 2009 Archaeological Inventory Survey identified 260 historic sites. About 90 are monitored annually. They are prioritized based on location to public, how easily the public can access them. So some sites are monitored on an annual basis, some sites are monitored on a 3-year basis, and some sites are monitored on a 5-year basis. In addition to that, there are 111 arthropod survey sites where they're measuring vacuum bug populations, alien species, and various other things. So the photo on the right is a map of the sites that they survey. Sorry, it's a poor quality photo, but or map, but that's the best I could find. So the team is preparing for that for these studies or these surveys this summer. I'm not sure if this year they will be using some of those remote sites for the historic site survey in the past have required helicopter jobs because they're really hard to get into. I'm not sure what exactly is being planned for this year, but we are working with our archaeologists who helps us with conducting the survey. So a little window into the kind of things that stewardship involves. And if I could have the next slide, please. It's one thing to look at it on a map, but it's much different to look at it in person. This is a photo taken by our rangers, one of our rangers last year. Those 3 small little figures are a resource management team hiking up Pu'upoliahu last year to conduct their arthropod surveys. So stewardship on the ground is taxing physically. Requires a lot of planning and preparation ahead of time. They carry with them satellite phones so they can be in touch in case of emergency with our rangers. As you know, cell phone reception up there is pretty spotty. So this is what stewardship on the ground actually looks like. That concludes my report. Any questions on my operations update?
Mahalo nui, Greg. I just wanted to do a follow-up question with regards to the heavy equipment and the large vehicles that are going up to the summit. Is there a current plan in place for sanitization before they go up the mountain to reduce the spread of foreign materials, matter, etc.?
Yes, all vehicles are inspected at their site of origin where they're leaving from, and they're issued a permit or clearance. When they get to the gate or to the visitor information station, the rangers conduct another inspection and also ensure they have their permit, their approval to go up. We have and we do turn around vehicles. I don't want to say regularly, but we do reserve the right to deny access to any vehicle, whether it's a contractor or the public, if the vehicle is dirty, muddy, etc. But all of those contracted vehicles do require a formal inspection at the site of origin where they're leaving from.
Mahalo nui, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Greg.
Yes.
So, with that, we're gonna go into executive session, so we're gonna excuse, all of the or the public members who have attended. We thank you for attending. We're gonna go into executive session to discuss with our attorneys, two matters. One, the OHA lawsuit, and the second matter being, the issue of what our attorneys are going to talk about what we believe Act 255 covers in terms of our governance. So with that, thank everybody.
Hey, John, before excusing, can we take a vote on the executive session?
Sure.
I'm sorry? Yeah, I know we're going to take a vote. Okay, so could I get a motion to put us into executive session?
That's great. Yes. Yeah. So as per listed in the agenda.
Right, pursuant to section 92.584, consult with the board's attorney on questions and issues pertaining to the authority's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities is Rich's motion.
Yeah.
Can I get a second? Okay, Paul Harner. Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. With that, we're in executive session, all done. So as we move forward, just
Sorry, do we need to move out to a different breakout group or
We're still on.
are we still,
we're
yeah,
still
I think we're still on the,
yeah,
Do the stuff.
okay, give me just a second.
and then Pua Anna, so Stan Chow, Gene Kwok, and John Price, they're with the Attorney General's office. They're going to be presenting on the first item, just for your info.
Great.
Oh my, I added you, but I don't know, try to look for the little button.
Standing by. Can try again. Well, let me try log off and log back on.
Okay, during the executive session, we talked about the two items listed in under item 9. The status of the 2017 and 2023 OHA lawsuits. We conferred with our attorney there. We also conferred with our attorney regarding Act 255 and the governance framework. So with that, the announcements are our next authority meeting is on June 13th. We also have a community talk story session tonight. Importantly, the top story session is not here at DOFA, but it's actually on the UH Hilo campus at Haleolelo, which is the Hawaiian language building at the UH Hilo campus.
I have one thing. I have a special request of board members. If you could please send your bio or your resume to Pua'ena. That would be really helpful to us. I know all of you probably had to submit one when you were nominated, and so please forward that to Pua'ena this week. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So with that, if there are no other announcements, if I get a motion to adjourn. Second, okay, second. Okay, second. Okay, all those in favor? Right. Any opposed? None. Thank you. Okay, thank you everyone for your time. Good meeting.
Aloha.